Hello, students. Welcome to your grammar class. I am Mrs. Jenny Shah, and today we are going to be learning verbs. Students, you will need your grammar magic books for today, so please sit with that. All right, let's begin. What are verbs? Every sentence is incomplete without a verb. Even the shortest of shortest sentence will have a verb. In fact, one word sentences will only have a verb in it. Example, sit, stand, jump, stop. These are all words. These are all verbs. Verbs carry the idea of being or the action in the sentence. Some verbs give the idea of the action, they give the idea of existence, of state, of being. For example, belong, seem, exist. A verb will always have a subject. If I say John speaks English, over here the word speaks is the verb. And who speaks English? John. So John is my subject. Verbs tell us what a person does, what a state of being a person is in, what a person or thing has, or the state in which a person or thing is. For example, Fatima sings the national song. What does Fatima do? Sings. We are very excited today. Who? What state of being is a person in? We are trying to show our excitement. Lara has a lovely toy. Over here, the verb has shows the possession of the toy. Ravi knows how to use this computer. Over here, knows is a non action verb, but it is trying to show that Ravi has the knowledge that is required for the usage of the computer. The verb is the most important part of a sentence, and we cannot have a sentence without a verb. So now students, in your grammar magic books number 57, in your grammar magic books page number 57, I want you to solve exercise A. You are just supposed to underline the verbs in those sentences. Okay? Now, pause your videos and do that verb. Okay, let's see the answer. The first question. Martin, Martin drives to his office every day. Over here, driving is the action word. Who's driving? Martin. My teacher is taking us to the theater. Who? My teacher. What is she doing? Taking us. There is a clown performing funny tricks at the circus. So over here, is and performing, there are two verbs in this sentence. Postman comes to our building every day except Sunday. Coming is the action. The waitress served us some cashews and juice. Served. Ginny and Johnny love to go shopping during Christmas. So, love. My father takes us to the beach every Saturday. Taking. Samir always wants to play football. Wants and play. There are two verbs, students. The baker Bakes great cakes and biscuits. Bakes. Doctors work both day and night. Okay, so students, I am very sure you all know your verbs very, very well. Now let's understand, what do you mean by direct and indirect object? The direct object is the receiver of the action in the sentence, like the boy broke the dish. So, who is the receiver of this object? Boy is the subject, and dish over here is the object. And what has been broken? The action broke has been performed on the dish. So, the dish is the direct object. Now, indirect objects is the secondary receiver of the action in the sentence. Like Justin gave his girlfriend a diamond ring. Now, what does Justin give? He gives the ring, the diamond ring. But whom is he giving it to? His girlfriend. So, the actual receiver is the girlfriend over here. Okay, but when you look at the verb gave, what did he give? Ring. So, over here, ring is the object, but his girlfriend is the indirect object of the sentence. Okay. So, to find out the direct object, we always ask the question what? What did Justin give? Ring. So, ring is the direct object. And to find out the indirect object, we ask the question to, for, from, whom. So, whom did Justin give the diamond ring? So, it's his girlfriend. So, his girlfriend is the indirect object. So let's look at the examples in our textbook, in our grammar magic books. Page number 58. Mother made dinner for my friends. What did mother make? Dinner. So dinner is the object. But for whom? Friends. So friends is the indirect object. Okay. Now, they have given you 10 sentences and you have to only underline the verbs in the sentences. In case you see a direct object wherever, just circle them. Okay? Again, students, I request you to pause the video and move ahead only after you have finished this exercise. So you will solve the exercise B on page number 58 of the Grammar Magic books before going ahead. 10 sentences, 10 underlines. Okay, students, I'm moving ahead. So if you haven't finished, this is the place where you pause. Nishant closed the window. So closed is the verb and the window is the direct object. Hit the ball. Hit is the verb and the ball is the object. We boiled the eggs in a little pan. What did we boil? Eggs. So eggs is the direct object and boiled is our verb. The kitten played with the ball. Played is our verb. Dheeraj repaired his car. The man lifted the lamp. Ring the bell now. Ring is the verb, students, and look, it is in the beginning of the sentence. The naughty boy broke the toy. The principal hoisted the flag. Ruth collects rare coins. Okay, students, now we are moving further to understand the difference between transitive verb and intransitive verb. You all know verbs by now. You are able to identify verbs very well. Now, these verbs can be transitive or intransitive. Transitive verbs are action verbs that have an object that receives that action. Like I baked some cookies. So over here, bake is the action. And what are we baking? Cookies. So I baked some cookies. Over here, the word baked is a transitive verb. I rode the bicycle. So where I rode is my verb and the bicycle is the object on which this action takes place. Now, understand, students, transitive, just like the word suggest, is so similar to the word transfer. It is so similar to the word transfer. That means that the action has been transferred to the object. I moved the chair. So I am moving the chair. Now look at the intransitive words. Intransitive verbs are action verbs, but unlike transitive verbs, they don't have an object that receives that action that they do. Like I laughed. So laughed over here is an intransitive word because it's not transferring to an object. If I say I laughed at Jim or I laughed at the show, then it will become transitive. But right now it is intransitive. It also means it is a little incomplete. Like I cried, the book fell, but where does it fell? We don't say anything like that. The horse galloped. Now, when a sentence is completed with a prepositional phrase, like where it happens, then to the sentence verb is still an intransitive verb. Only when an object is mentioned will that verb change into transitive. Look at the examples in our text, in our grammar magic books. Peter bought a hamster. So Peter bought what? Hamster. Since we got the answer to the question what or whom, it is a transitive verb. The hamster refers to something that is different and distinct from Peter. Peter over here is the subject. And so hamster is the object and the verb is bought. Next sentence. Now remember, a verb which requires an object to complete its sense is called as a transitive verb. And a verb which does not require an object to complete its sense is called an intransitive verb. Now, Rita danced. Over here, we know the subject of the sentence as Rita, but we don't have an object of the sentence. So, students, this is an intransitive verb. Now, the verb over here danced is intransitive because it has no object. Amish is a writer. The question is Amish is what or whom? If you look closely, you will see the writer refers to Amish himself. It does not refer to somebody different or distinct from the subject. And so the writer is not the object of the verb is. And so students is will again become an intransitive verb. Okay? Now, I want you to do. Okay, I have more examples. Transitive is when the action is transferred. That is, action of a transitive verb transitions through the verb to an object to complete the meaning. Like, she played the piano. So she's playing, and piano is the direct object. Liam will release 5 seals. So he's going to release and what? 5 seals. Now look at the intransitive verb. The pirates laughed heartily. Now we don't know what they laughed at. We know how. Heartily is a adjective, so it is describing it. So over here, laughed is an intransitive verb. But the pirates found the treasure. Over here, we know what they found. It's a direct object. So students, it becomes a transitive verb. Now let's understand this through our exercise C of Grammar Magic books on page 59. Again, students, please complete it before going ahead because the answers will be on the screen very soon. Underline the verbs and also identify if they are transitive or intransitive. I shall be moving ahead, students. So please pause your videos and complete your work. We clean our room every day. It is transitive because the verb clean is has a direct object, room. Suzanne gave a flower to the teacher. Flower is a direct object. Tina and Tarun seem unhappy. There's no direct object here. We lived in Madrid for 9 years. Again, students, this is an intransitive verb because there is no direct object over here. As you can see, we lived in Madrid for 9 years. Madrid is a preposition, it's a name of a place, and 9 years is the amount of time. So there is no direct object. We over here, we are talking about them, we are talking about the subject only, and so we don't have a new object. The children laughed at the joke is transitive, but the children laughed would become intransitive. My sister moved the cupboard to her room. She's moving the cupboard object, so yes, transitive. Did you find the house you were looking for? Over here, house is the object. The mathematics professor explained the lesson. What did he explain? Lesson, so transitive. My sister and I always disagree. Again, there is no object. The painters painted the building yellow, transitive. The watchman blew the whistle, transitive. The candle burnt brightly. Over here, students, brightly is an adjective and hence burnt does not have any object with it. So it becomes intransitive. Hema looked at her artwork. So Hema looked at her artwork is again transitive because what is she looking at? Her artwork. Aditya finally got his passport. What does he get? Passport. The students welcomed the new principal. So where your welcomed is transitive again students. Okay. Now let's understand what are helping verbs. Helping verbs help the main verb in doing the job. Like we should help our parents. Over here, help is the main verb and should is the helping verb. So, helping verb works together with the main verb. Like she is leaving. Over here, leaving is the main verb and is and have is the helping verb. See students in your text, in your grammar magic books, page 61, helping verbs are also called auxiliary verbs because they help the main they help the main verb in a sentence. Like Rohan was calling his friend for a picnic. Here the word calling is the main verb, but the word was is a helping verb, or it is also called as an auxiliary verb. Okay, so students, there's something called as models also. Now these models, they are special verbs and they express different meanings like permission, possibility, ability, necessity, certainty, obligation. So models, they basically express the mood of the speaker. Models can never change their form. We cannot add an S, ed or an ing. You cannot say canned or canning, musted, musting. No. Can, may, must, shall, will, could. Can become could, may will become might, shall will become should, will become would. But they will not have anything like an SED or an ING. Okay, they are always followed by the base form of that word like can play, should appear, was calling, etc. Okay, students, so these are the modal verbs. Now we are going to also understand finite and non-finite verbs today. Finite verbs are the ones that has a tense. That means they agree with its subject in the person and number and it will change its form accordingly. And infinite verbs do not change their form even when the person and number of the subject changes. And so they are called infinite verbs. Okay? Now, finite verbs, they act as a verb, they act as the main verb of the clause, they indicate person, number, and tense, they are used in present tense and past tense, they appear in dependent and independent clauses both. So, Jean said that he enjoyed painting. Okay, but over here, if you look at the non finite verbs, they do not act as verbs. So, sailing is my favorite sport. What do they act as? They act as nouns or adjectives or adverbs. So the sleeping cat is brown. Over here, sleeping is actually a verb, but it is behaving like an adjective because it is describing the behavior of the cat. It does not indicate a person, number, and tense. She tiptoed around the house so as not to wake anybody. So it is not indicating anybody over here to wake. Are infinitives, gerunds, and participles. These are the three types of non finite verbs. I struggle to understand. Appear in the infinitive participle and gerund participle clause. So, kids like to play on the computer. So, over here, to play will become non finite because kid like to play on the computer, children love to play on the computer. The word to play will not change its form, it will remain the same. Okay, so thus the verbs that are used to indicate the time when an action takes place. When a verb undergoes such a change, it is said to be present tense, past tense, and future time, respectively. So we'll talk about tenses later, students. Let's complete the last exercise for today. Exercise H on page number 62 of your Grammar Magic books. You have to underline, circle the in only the finite verbs in the sentences. Remember, finite verbs is limited by number. It can be singular or plural. And the finite verb will change its form depending on the number of the subject. So the girl sings well. And then if it becomes two girls, these two girls sing beautifully. You can see the subject is changing. So students, please pause your videos because I'm going to show you the answers now. Uditi speaks Chinese very well. Speaks over here is a finite verb. Sahil tried to run fast. Tried. Leela had a pleasant look on her face. Had. Mahant goes to the market every day to fetch milk. Goes. Priya and Paku are writing a letter. Are. She is doing her homework at the moment. Is. They drive very fast. Drive. And we went for a walk around the park over here. Went will be the finite verb in the sentence. So, students, I hope you enjoyed today's class. Thank you. We've come to the end. With this, I'm telling you a goodbye. Have a good day. Stay home and stay safe. Thank you.